Hi, welcome back to Raven Views the News. My name is Adam Erickson.
I'm Suzanne Ross.
And today is April 27th. And Suzanne, it's been really, really wet outside. Kind of reminds me of London.
Yes!
Speaking of London, you may not have heard about this, but there's some kind of wedding happening Friday.
You haven't heard?
I've heard little bits of it in the
Okay.
news here and there, but apparently William and Kate are getting married on Friday.
Yes.
Very exciting time for all of us. It brings up the question, where does royalty come from? Where does kingship come from? How does it get formed?
Yes. Yes, we thought we would take advantage of the royal wedding to talk about that because Mimetic theory, oddly, has something to say about it.
It's fascinating.
It really is fascinating. And it has to do with this dual, almost opposite functions that a scapegoat has.
Mm-hmm.
And people have heard us talk about scapegoating a
yes.
lot, but we don't often talk about the origin of the scapegoat mechanism or what was happening when this sort of discovery of how to create order out of disorder was happening.
So what's happening in early communities is that there's a lot of conflict going on because everybody's imitating one another's desires for things, and there's this kind of war of all against all until there's a war of all against one, the scapegoat, who gets blamed for all of the conflicts within the community.
Right.
Yeah. So then that scapegoat who gets killed is seen as the source of all the conflicts in the community, but also after the death there's peace in the community, correct? And so then the scapegoat is also seen as the source of peace, this benevolence that happens after the death of the scapegoat.
Right.
So the scapegoats get divinized as the source of both peace and also as a source of all the conflicts. So there's this ambiguity within the gods.
Yes, and within the royalty and within anyone occupying a position of political power, really, because that's the source of political power, is the king, the president, the leader, whatever, represents and is vested with sort of this sense of being representing the unity of all the people. So the Queen of England is England. She represents all of the order.
Yeah, and very early on in human history, you see the kings as representative of the gods.
Yes,
right.
They're divine. They have divine authority, or they are God.
Or they are gods.
gods.
Not only representative, but they are gods. And so the king gets vested with this order, as you say, but also this disorder that happens.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes it's hard for us to understand all the rituals surrounding the institution of kingship, because there's all this very careful sense of how do you behave, how do you dress, how do you speak, how do you address the queen, how do you what do you wait till she speaks to you or not. It's a lot of a little aura of fear around approaching royalty, and that represents that fear that was very legitimate in the archaic communities of a loss of order, of a return to the chaos that was in place before the scapegoat was found.
And you see that at this wedding, because even like weeks before, you have to follow all of the protocols so that you have this order, you have this sense of order. And now that this wedding is going to have tons and tons of people at it, it's a big security issue.
Well, sure.
And so you've got to have all of this sense of order, and that things are safe, and that nobody's going to cause any problems at this thing.
Well, and the other thing that's really interesting that I think has been a subject of conversation is that Prince William is marrying a commoner.
Right.
And we were remembering not too long ago Prince William's great uncle, Edward the
Eighth.
Eighth.
Yeah.
This was during World War II or just before World War II. Had to abdicate the throne because he wanted to marry Wallis Simpson, who was an American divorcee.
Yeah.
And that was so scandalous and so intolerable for the monarchy that he had to abdicate.
It would have disrupted the order of the monarchy because not only is this a commoner, but it's an American.
An American, and you know, the rules for who you can marry and who you can't marry are rules of social structure and social order, and they're in place to prevent rivalries from erupting and to maintain peace. Marriage is often a vehicle for peacemaking between tribes, even between countries. Of course, kings and queens marry in order to form alliances, right? So if the rules for marriage are broken by the king, who is the representative of the order that the marriage rules flow out of, the fear, again, the very primitive fear of the loss of order comes into place, and it seems out of proportion. You know, why were we so panicked about marrying a commoner? William can do it now, somehow. The monarchy survived it, and there was no breakdown of order, although maybe one could say there was. I don't know.
Or there could be.
Or there could be.
We haven't gotten there yet, but a lot of people are saying that this is the modernization of the royal family.
Yes.
So we're getting beyond this social hierarchy where you can no longer, I guess a commoner can no longer contaminate the royalty, I guess, by getting married to one. In fact, the royalty, I guess, brings up the commoner to this level.
Yes, it does seem to be that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And of course, the future of the British monarchy is always a wonderful topic for conversation,
right. Yeah.
I guess. But what purpose are they serving at this point in history? And it still seems that they're serving as a symbolic representative of the unity of the people. And they still, you know, if they don't mess it up too much, you have to occupy that position without too much individuality showing, you know.
Well, yeah, and it's fascinating because they symbolically represent the unity of the people, and you see that happening in this wedding. Not only the unity of the British people, but the unity of the world. Everybody wants to be part of this experience. Yeah. Everybody throughout the world is going to be tuning in. Are you going to be tuning in at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time?
I'll be sleeping, but my DVR will be running.
Good.
Probably more than one channel, just to be sure.
Good.
Don't miss anything.
Yeah, but I mean, to your point, it allows us all to feel like we are unified as part of this group who wants to be a part of this event that's going on. And man, the British know how to throw a party.
You betcha.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I know. Where's your invitation? I didn't get mine.
Yeah, I had to tell them that I couldn't go.
Oh.
Yeah, my wife and kids wouldn't want me to be gone for so long.
I don't know. I had nothing to wear.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, those are our thoughts on kingship and the royal wedding and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Love to hear your thoughts. Thanks.
Bye.